Ever heard the term tragic hero and thought, wait, how can a hero be tragic? Isn't a hero supposed to win and save the day? Well, stick around, because today we're breaking down what a tragic hero actually is, where the idea came from, how it shows up in films that you probably already know, and of course how Macbeth is basically the poster boy for tragic failure. Here we go. So what is a tragic hero? So the tragic hero idea actually goes way, way back. We're talking ancient Greece, like togas and sandals. The idea was first developed by a guy called Aristotle, a bit of a big deal in the philosophy world. He was writing about plays and what makes a good tragedy. And according to him, a tragic hero is someone who starts off pretty great, noble, respected, maybe even powerful, but they've got a fatal flaw, known as hamartia, which causes everything to fall apart. So yeah, not just any old sad character, a tragic hero has to be important or noble, have a fatal flaw, make some bad decisions because of that flaw, go through a fall from grace, and usually die in the end. Fun stuff. So this isn't just a Shakespeare thing either. The tragic hero idea is everywhere in modern storytelling. Let's look at a few that you might know. Batman, especially in The Dark Knight, Bruce Wayne is noble, he's powerful, he wants to save Gotham, but what's his flaw? It's obsession. He needs to control everything and do things his way, and that causes chaos. He even becomes the villain in the eyes of the public. Iron Man, or Tony Stark. Genius, billionaire, playboy, hero. But his hamartia? Pride and control. He literally creates Ultron, a massive world-ending threat, because he thinks that he knows best. And Superman in The Man of Steel. He wants to save the world, but his tragic flaw is isolation. He never fully fits in with the humans, and in trying to protect everyone, he ends up having to kill, breaking his own moral code, which makes it quite tragic. Think about other characters like Anakin Skywalker or Harvey Dent. They go from heroic to destructive because of some kind of inner flaw. So yeah, tragic heroes they're everywhere. So let's bring it back to Macbeth. At the start of the play, he's a noble warrior. He's respected by everyone. Even the king calls him Noble Macbeth and says he's valiant cousin, worthy gentleman, and Macbeth himself even acknowledges that people have golden opinions of him. So tick for nobility. But what's his fatal flaw? Well, that's ambition, and not the healthy kind. Macbeth wants power, but once the witches plant the seed of him becoming the king, that ambition grows into obsession. He even says, "I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition." He knows his ambition is dangerous, but does that stop him? Nope. And once he murders Duncan, the fall begins. He goes from noble war hero to paranoid tyrant. He can't sleep. He sees visions. He starts killing his friends. Banquo, dead. Lady Macduff, dead. Macduff's son, dead. They're all dead because of Macbeth and Macbeth's ambitions. And by the end of the play, Macbeth is totally isolated. His wife dies, the soldiers are closing in, and he even knows it's over. That's when he gives the whole "life's but a walk in shadow, a tale told by an idiot full of sound and fury, signifying nothing" speech. And that is a man who has completely unravelled. And then, of course, he dies in battle, and the tragic hero status has been unlocked. He ticks all of the boxes for it. So why does it actually matter that Macbeth is a tragic hero? To answer this, you need to ask yourself what the why is. Why was Shakespeare writing this play? What's his purpose? What's his message? This is where the play gets hugely intertwined with life in 1606 England. But put simply, Shakespeare was writing for an audience that loved a good moral lesson. Tragedies are warnings, they're a warning play. And in Macbeth's case, the warning is pretty clear. Don't let ambition control you. Don't try to mess with fate. Don't put your trust in the supernatural. and don't kill a king chosen by God, which is a pretty big one. And that's a huge reference to Guy Fawkes and the Gunpowder Plot, which happened the year before Macbeth was written in 1605. Also, by making Macbeth a tragic hero instead of just a plain villain, Shakespeare adds depth. We don't just hate Macbeth, at times we feel sorry for him. He knows what he's doing is wrong, but he can't stop, and that's quite powerful. It makes the audience relate to him a little bit more. And it links to the whole idea of the great chain of being and the divine right of kings. The second Macbeth steps out of line, the whole world descends into chaos. So in a way, Macbeth is tragic, not just because he dies, but because he could have been great. But his choices and his flaws, they drag him down. Well, Aristotle actually had fancy names for each stage, because of course he did. But don't worry, they sound scarier than they are. Here's a simple way to look at it. These are the 5 stages that make up a tragic hero, according to Aristotle. And guess what? Macbeth hits every single one. No surprise. So first off, we have hubris, which is excessive pride or arrogance. So think about Macbeth's ego. It's massive. As soon as he hears the witches say he'll be king, he starts believing he's meant for greatness. He ignores logic, morality, and even his own sense of right and wrong because he's convinced that he deserves the crown. Stars, hide your fires, let not light see my black and deep desires. This is the moment where ambition starts to overpower reason. Big hubris energy. And next we've got hamartia, the fatal flaw. This is Macbeth's ambition. It's what drives him to act, even when he knows what he's doing is wrong. He says himself that he has no spur to kill Duncan other than vaulting ambition. That's the flaw. It makes him dangerous. Next we've got the peripeteia, the reversal of fortune. And things really start going wrong once he's king. He thought having the crown would make him powerful and secure, but he just gets more paranoid. Banquo becomes a threat, Macduff escapes him, his wife starts losing her mind, and his people turn against him. So instead of being the most powerful man in Scotland, he's a nervous wreck just trying to cling to control. Then we've got an agnoresis, which is the realization or discovery. And so eventually Macbeth realizes that it's all been pointless. He's lost everything. Friends, honor, love, peace, sleep. It's all gone. So you've got a few different instances in towards the end of the play. He says, I begin to be wary of the sun, an out brief candle. There are a few different quotations that link to him realizing it's all been a bit pointless, really. These moments show that he finally sees how empty his rise to power has been. He knows that he messed up, but by then it's too late. And then we have catharsis, and that's a sense of emotional release for the audience. That's finally when we feel it. That mix of, oh wow, that was intense, and oh, thank God that's over. There's relief when Macbeth dies. Not just because he was a tyrant, but because justice is restored. Malcolm becomes king, order returns, nature's happy again, great chain of being, divine right of kings. It's that moment when you breathe out and think, oh, well, he had it coming, but still. So there you go, Macbeth is a textbook tragic hero. He starts noble, he gets corrupted by ambition, he makes the wrong choices, he realizes too late, and then he dies. He starts high, he falls hard, and he takes pretty much everyone down with him, which is classic Shakespeare. So here's a question for you. Do you think that Macbeth deserves sympathy? Or is he just a murderer with a crown? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy revising.